No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of AEW Dynamite for Wednesday, May 8th, 2024. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. I appreciate your viewership and support. Let's get started with this recap. AEW up north in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Adam Copeland, the TNT champion, was interviewed backstage about his main event match with Brody King for the TNT title. Copeland said he wasn't feeling great, but things need to end. And he went to Tony Khan, and Tony set up a no DQ match for the main event. Copeland said that the House of Black would be getting the rated R superstar. We had the Elite in the Dynamite intro once again. And then we kicked off the in-ring action with Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta. They brawled on the outside of the ring. And while this match was going on, we had a little countdown in the upper right-hand corner with Christian and Swerve's face-to-face confrontation. That was being hyped up for the 9 o'clock hour. Orange Cassidy and Trent brawled in the stands. Orange Cassidy ate some popcorn, did the 10 punches, and then Orange was backdropped over the barricade, back to the ringside area. They returned to the ring. Orange Cassidy hit the orange punch, and then Don Callis, who has been trying to recruit Orange Cassidy, showed up for commentary. After the break, Trent Beretta avoided an orange punch. He hit 2 pile drivers, but did not go for a pin. He then exposed the top turnbuckle in one of the corners. Orange Cassidy, though, exposed one on the opposite side of the ring. Orange Cassidy ended up sending Trent into that exposed turnbuckle, rolled him up, and got the 1-2-3 victory. After the match was over, Trent attacked Orange Cassidy, gave him a pile driver on the steel steps, and then catapulted Orange Cassidy into the ring frame, grabbed a toolbox, but then Chris Statlander and Don Callis, of all people, tried to calm Trent down, and Trent did back off. So I guess the plot thickens with Don Callis and Orange Cassidy. I'm not really sure what to make of this. Match was fine. I do agree with Michael Wayne. It's hard to care about Trent Beretta. I mean, some people care about him, but not sure where he goes from here. And why does he still have the Best Friends music? Like, why not change up his entrance or change up his look? He needs something. We had footage of the Elite arriving in the building, and they ended up parking in AEW President Tony Khan's parking spot. We also had a post-Dynamite promo from Jack Perry. He said that Kenny Omega was not the hero they needed, and Kenny ended up being a coward just like everyone else. Perry said that they are going to change the world without Kenny Omega. We then had Kenny Omega via a hospital bed cutting a promo. He had an important announcement as hyped up by AEW. And Kenny revealed that at Double or Nothing in just a couple of weeks, it will be an Anarchy in the Arena match, which is basically 8 people brawling all over the place. They're always fun matches. It's going to be the Elite, which is the Young Bucks, Okada, and Perry, against Team AEW, which will be FTR and 2 volunteers. More on that in a little bit. We had a Serena Deeb interview on the stage with Tony Schiavone. She was struggling here. She was stumbling on her words a little bit and struggling to get the crowd to react to her. In fact, they started chanting, "Let's go Oilers" at one point. She brought up how she suffered multiple seizures, talked about her dream of one day becoming the world champion. And then Toni Storm arrived, called Serena Deeb a charity case. Serena wanted Toni to just give a shit for once. And Toni Storm responded by saying she does not give any shits. She tried to hit Serena, but Serena countered and punched out the world champion, Toni Storm. Got the upper hand. I guess you could say she got some momentum heading into Double or Nothing. Segment wasn't much. Like, Serena is struggling here to get the crowd to care about her, and she lost whatever momentum she got from a few years ago, and I'm not sure if she'll be able to get it back at this point. We had our women's match not at 9:15, 9:30, but almost an hour earlier. We had Mariah May versus Harley Cameron with Sera. Sera still has a job in AEW. You learn something new every day. Sera was out there as the manager, and it's so odd to me because Mariah May is booked like a babyface in these types of scenarios, even though she's still under the wing of the heel Toni Storm. So you had Sera out there checking on Harley, and Harley did get the upper hand for a while. Mariah regained control, hit the sky high, but Harley kicked out, and then Sera saved Harley from the hip attack. Sera got punched out, and then Mariah May was able to pick up the win. Match was fine. Sera, not a difference maker whatsoever these days. And then afterwards, Sera immediately attacked Mariah May, and then Mina Shirakawa made the save. Not even sure how to pronounce her name. Mina, I'll just call her that. She teased kissing Mariah May, but instead drank some champagne with her. Not sure where this is all going, but hey, I guess he got somebody new in the mix, so that's a positive, right? And by the way, 2 matches now where somebody was attacked immediately afterwards. We had the Bang Bang Gang, or not the Scissor Gang. They're just the Bang Bang Gang or the Bullet Club Gold, whatever they're called these days. They hijacked Pac's promo backstage, made fun of the Death Triangle for being dead, and then Jay White said maybe he should go after Okada, and perhaps Pac can learn something about winning. We had a Malachi Black vignette about Adam Copeland, which is all good, but kind of gives away who's winning the main event, just saying. We also had an Elite vignette, and then the Young Bucks were backstage on the headsets saying that we need less updates from Kenny Omega. Next up, we had the confrontation between Swerve and Christian Cage. Swerve was pissed off, in a fighting mood, and he showed the footage from last week's show. He called out Christian, and Christian, of course, made fun of the Oilers, the Edmonton hockey team, and then said he's going to take something every week until he takes Swerve's title. And he said maybe he will start with Swerve's gold teeth, and said that Swerve's house is about to be foreclosed. They came to the ring, but then the Mogul Embassy made the save, or so we were led to think. As it turns out, the Mogul Embassy double-crossed Swerve Strickland. They beat him up, And then they ended up putting Swerve through the table on the outside of the ring. The Bucks were very happy about this, and they shook Christian's hand backstage. I did like the angle, just because you need to build some heat for this. And the Mogul Embassy needed to break from Swerve. Swerve's a heel, or a face, I should say, and the Mogul Embassy are heels. So they really needed to go their separate ways. And I like this. Christian gets to the Mogul Embassy, and you continue to stack the deck against Swerve. Christian really needs all he can at this point. I actually did like the segment and thought it was well done. We had a backstage promo with Willow Nightingale. She's not feeling great from her recent match, but she said that you cannot beat the smile off of her face. She's the TBS champion. She's ready for Double or Nothing, and she feels sorry that Mercedes Monae got hurt in their last match, but Willow does not plan on slowing down. She is on the run of her life. Solid promo here. My gut feeling is she's losing that title, though. We had Jay White versus Rocky Romero. Not much of a match here. I mean, Rocky Romero basically enhancement talent at this point. Jay White was trash talking. Rocky went after him, and Rocky actually got multiple near falls on Jay White, but Jay eventually got the upper hand and picked up the victory with the Blade Runner. And then guess what? You guessed it. Post-match attack. The Bang Bang Gang attacked Rocky after the match was over for good measure. So third match on the show with an immediate attack afterwards. And then Pac ran down to make the save. We had a Samoa Joe vignette. He's training and he's looking to get back in the mix. We'll see where this goes. And then we had Chris Jericho, the Learning Tree Chris Jericho, teaming up with Big Bill against two enhancement talent. Basically just a showcase match. Big Bill tagged in, beat the crap out of these guys, and then Jericho came in with the Judas effect and got the win. After the match, they cut a post-match promo. No attack this time, thankfully. Just a promo. Jericho, whether it was accident or an accident on purpose to get heat, he called the city Calgary instead of Edmonton. Crowd chanted, "You effed up." And Jericho said, as the learning tree, he learns from his mistakes. And he brought up his Shibata match from the other week, how it received such a high cage match rating. And then Tony Schiavone revealed that Hook will be returning next week on Dynamite. Still not into this Chris Jericho gimmick. I mean, it's just dying. And he's out there mentioning cage match. Not really feeling it at all. It has not turned the corner yet for me, and I don't know if it will. We had our main event match, and there was more after the main event. And no Taz on the show, by the way. Taz is hurt, but he said he will be back on next week's show. We had Edge defending his TNT title against Brody King. No DQ match. Good match. I enjoyed it. Predictable, but entertaining. We had blood in the match. They were fighting all over the place since it was no DQ. And they were on the apron. And there was a chair on the apron. Copeland gave Brody a DDT, which busted Brody open. And Brody was just smiling. Playing the sicko man who's just deranged. He regained the upper hand on Copeland. Copeland was struggling. Copeland tried to pick him up but couldn't do it. Went for a spear, but Brody countered with a pile driver, and then both of them ended up on the apron. Copeland managed to pick him up after failing the first time, gave him a DVD on the apron, Death Valley driver, and then speared Brody off the apron, through a table, got him back in the ring, hit another spear, and got the 1-2-3 victory. No surprise here. And then guess what? After the match, Brody King attacked him. 4 matches on the show where there was an immediate post-match attack. Brody beat up Copeland, and then Kyle O'Reilly ran down to make the save for Copeland. More on that in just a moment. We were in overtime at this point. We had a Mercedes Monae interview right after 10 o'clock. She said that she thrives in the spotlight and she thrives when under pressure. And she talked about how she's ready. She'll be as good as she was. And she also added that she is that bitch, which last time I checked was Jade Cargill's catchphrase. But I guess since Jade's gone now, it's now Mercedes Monae's promo. And she said, Monae changes everything. I actually thought the promo was fine. She looked good, and I thought her delivery was pretty solid. It's a big test for her at Double or Nothing. Like, she's got to deliver in the ring, you know. She needs to show everybody that this was a good signing from Tony Khan, and that it wasn't just the marketing machine that got her over. She got herself over. She's got to prove it in the ring. You know, this is a crucial moment in her career at Double or Nothing. Her and Willow definitely need to deliver big. And we had Adam Copeland backstage with Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle had a favor. Collision is this Saturday in Vancouver, and Kyle wants to be the challenger in the Cope Open for the TNT title. And Copeland realized that this was part of Kyle's plan, help him out, get a title match. But Copeland said, well played. Shook his hand, and that match is set up for Collision. Adam Copeland versus Kyle O'Reilly in Kyle's hometown of Vancouver, British Columbia. Great city, by the way. I've been there. Love that city. If I ever had to move out of the United States, I'd go to Vancouver. We had our final segment of the evening, the Elite come into the ring. Okada got on the mic and called himself the best bout machine and wished Kenny Omega get well soon. Also, Matt Jackson said that he hopes Tony Khan is feeling better. They said that they were there to make AEW a better place. Tony Khan just got in their way. And Nicholas Jackson accepted the match, Anarchy in the Arena, and said, good luck finding 2 partners. But then FTR interrupted and revealed their partners. Partner number 1, Eddie Kingston. And then partner number 2, he's back. He's all right. Bryan Danielson, after that match with Ospreay at Dynasty. Bryan is cleared. He's back. And all 4 guys got into the ring. We had a brawl. Officials came into the ring. We had a little tease for Anarchy in the Arena. And AEW Dynamite went off the air. Toronto's a great city too, but I've been to both, and I would go with Vancouver just for the scenery alone. Like, you got the mountains, you got the forests. Toronto doesn't have the mountains that British Columbia has. So, and I think the weather is milder in Vancouver because it's by the Pacific Ocean. So for weather and scenery, Vancouver gets the win over Toronto, but both are great cities. Anyways, that was Dynamite. And I thought the show was okay. They're doing too much of the post-match attacks, and it feels a little stale. I do like the Elite storyline, and Anarchy in the Arena will be a great match for Double or Nothing. Quite frankly, I think that's the most compelling match for the pay-per-view at this point. You got the world title match, but it's pretty clear to me. I mean, it's the same deal. And, they might have a great match. Cody Rhodes and AJ had a great match at the pay-per-view, even though it was predictable. So Swerve and Christian, I'm sure, will deliver. But as far as like which match I'm looking forward to the most, like I don't know who's going to win that Anarchy in the Arena. I could see that going either way. So it should be a hell of a match. You're going to have Bryan and Okada in there. It's going to be crazy. The last couple of them have been absolutely wild. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun spectacle on pay-per-view. But yeah, the show, the promos, some were okay, some were not. Like the Jericho stuff, meh. The Serena Deeb segment kind of fell flat. So I'm going to give the show a B+. I think the end was good. The main event was pretty good. And then I did like the stuff with the Elite. But I feel like AEW's gotta mix it up more and come up with some new concepts. And they got to make the shows more unpredictable. Like it just feels too much like AEW has just gotten itself into a formula. And I want to watch the show and have no idea what to expect. And the beginning of Dynamite 2019, 2020, it had that vibe. It had that like 1990s wrestling vibe where you tune in and you don't know what's gonna happen. And now it's the opposite. Now it just feels like the same old, same old. C+, it was all right. And Double or Nothing's looking solid. So that's a positive. But I think there's still work to be done. They got to get some new blood, maybe creatively working on the show. But I've been saying that for weeks now, and I'll continue to say it. Anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube, nodq.com/YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned to nodq.com for the very latest. Buy a shirt, nodq.com/merch. And I will see you all next time.